Yo, what's going on, guys? Crunchy Flakes here, man. For today's video, yo, I'm happy, man. It's the weekend, feeling good. We got the most ridiculous NBA draft comparisons you've ever seen, man. You've ever seen. Video by Andy Hoops. So I'm thinking about one that particularly comes to mind. It's my dude from the Washington Wizards, mid-2000s. Can't see me to Sean Stevenson. His was Michael Jordan. All right, let's get going.
Is a highly important part of
I think
building
Stanley
an
Johnson's
NBA
was
roster.
Kawhi Leonard.
You want players who are not only excellent prospects, but who also fit into the identity of your team. The comparisons and projections on draft day are always incredibly fun to read and talk
I saw him
about.
in Summer League, man, balling
However,
out.
sometimes the scouts and writers just go off.
Philip, I never heard of that. Oh, from Greece. 6'9". Oh, that's Giannis. That's Giannis. Okay,
the
my bad, my
rails and
bad.
Give us comparisons that are simply
His was Nicholas
absurd.
Batum.
In this video, I want to take a look at some
Spoilers,
comparisons
maybe.
that were way off from what these players ultimately became. I'm going to look at both ends of the spectrum.
Kawhi, maybe a
guys who
Danny
were projected
Green.
to be way different than what they turned out
Definitely
to
a
be,
Danny
for better
Green.
or worse. And using draftexpress.com and NBAdraft.net as my sources. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and without
Andy.
further ado, let's begin.
Let's do it.
Kwame Brown.
Kwame
Chris
Brown,
Webber
number one pick.
/ Karl Malone.
All right. I can sort this one out. Okay. Karl Malone, we're not going to touch that. You should have said that yourself years ago too, man. But no, with the Chris Webber, I love me some C-Web. He made that timeout mistake before. That was a pretty stupid basketball IQ thing. So that kind of goes hand in hand with Kwame and them small hands, man. Okay. Yeah.
Now, most number one picks have absurd expectations to begin with, but a lot of times, other consensus number one picks like Anthony Davis, Tim Duncan, LeBron James, Shaq, they more or less met or exceeded
I'm
their
offended that he said
expectations.
Anthony Davis first. I don't
And
know why.
unlike Anthony
I shouldn't
Bennett,
be.
who most people didn't have much faith in to begin with, Kwame, however, you can tell he was expected to be a great player, a generational star. The results were quite the opposite, in fact. Right from the
Just
start,
them small
he did
hands,
not
man. I
have
got him
it.
too.
He didn't
I
have
can
the
barely
work
bobble
ethic
damn
or the drive
baseball.
to get better, or any of the skills that he displayed in high school. That's the risk of taking high school players. It's not just the uncertainty of their games translating over, but their mindset and their maturity. Very few high schoolers lived up to their hype. Karl Anthony Towns.
Cat.
Andrew Bogut.
What?
Now,
Hey, wait. Okay, you know what? This is okay. I'm sure Andy's gonna explain. This one actually kind of offends me. I mean, Cat was like doing some offensive things in college, right? He was doing something.
Even a bad player, he was a great center for many years. But this comparison is
Yeah, like
absurd
Bogut was a
because
great player,
Towns
but
turned out
nothing
to
like
be
Cat.
A completely different player than
He was
Bogut.
a good player.
While Bogut was a defensive-minded center, Towns
Right.
is an offensive dynamo.
Great and ground scorer.
And his biggest weakness for most of his career has been his defense.
Combined, they'd be a great
They have,
NBA player.
completely opposite skill sets as centers. However, this comparison was made because Towns' defensive prowess is what stood out in college. So
But
I
even
guess the
offensively
scouting reports on
speaking-
draft night back in 2015, it kinda made sense. Towns was one of the best defenders in the NCAA, and he did a lot of the dirty work. So that's where this comparison came from. It was quite
suppose.
unexpected when Towns became this good
Makes me wanna
offensively,
throw up, kinda,
which makes
but-
this comparison look ridiculous in hindsight. Eddie Curry, Shaquille O'Neal.
Wow, that's the build.
Talk about aiming high. Continuing off the high
We're
school
number
craze
34
back
also.
in 2001, Curry was one of the best high school centers the world has ever seen.
Yeah, that's Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq? Really? I guess the only thing they had in common was they gained a lot of weight throughout
Now
their
we'll say though,
careers,
back
but
in like NBA 2K, what, 8 or 6 or something, like using Eddie Curry was a good time. It was a good
unlike
time.
Curry, Shaq actually dominated
Shine
when he
directly
was
in my
heavier.
face.
Pascal Siakam, Jordan Mickey / Luke Mahamud.
Hey, okay, no slander for Luke Magambamuke. That was my dude on the Bucks. 6'9". He was actually. That's actually not a bad. I mean, that's not like Luke was about an era too early. Luke was about an era too early, but he was kind of trending towards that mixture of what am I looking for? Power forwards, they ain't like they're not like how they used to be. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like the smaller power forward. That was Luke.
I literally had to look up who Jordan Mickey was. Apparently,
Washington
he was a
Wizards?
2015 second-round pick who spent 3 seasons in the NBA as a bench warmer. But in recent times, he's been dominating in the EuroLeague, which is cool. For Siakam, a
Was he ever on the
first-round pick
Wizards?
to get compared to a bench warmer, talk about low expectations. Safe to say, he surpassed him quite
Hey, the
quickly.
Luke comparison ain't horrible.
In fact, Siakam's 4.2 points a game
Luke
in his
just played
rookie
off
year
ball.
was more than what Mickey averaged in any of his 3 seasons.
Oh yeah, the sun
Of
is
course,
on my face. Y'all
afterwards,
see that?
Siakam blossomed into an all-star, an all-NBA player.
I'm being blessed by the NBA
Also,
gods.
I feel like there's no basis behind the Luke Mahamut comparison, besides the fact that they're both from Cameroon.
Well, 6'8".
Donovan Mitchell, Norman Powell. Now, I mean, Powell is a good player. He had some solid seasons, but this comparison is
Yeah,
just
Norman is
way
just
off.
Walmart Donovan
I
Mitchell.
can't imagine anyone looking at Mitchell on draft night and thinking,
Donovan Mitchell is
"Oh,
Costco.
this guy reminds me of
Norman
Norman Powell."
So checks out.
Especially since, keep in mind, at the time this comparison was made, Norman Powell was averaging 8 points a game, and he was the 46th pick of the draft a few years prior. Even if he showed some flashes, as a youngster, Powell was a huge question mark, and struggled to crack consistent minutes.
I kind of see it though,
Now,
play style
Mitchell,
wise.
being the 13th pick, why would you even compare him to Powell? Almost immediately, this comparison seemed ridiculous when Mitchell hit the ground running. Some years later into their NBA
that
career,
pass, though.
and now Mitchell
That
has become
pass,
a
Scales,
perennial
Siakam knows
star
matchup.
and exceeded way beyond that initial projection. Ben Simmons, LeBron James. Whenever you compare a player to an all-time great, especially LeBron, you automatically assume he's going to be a generational talent, at the very least. Simmons,
I'm
being the
giving
first pick,
Ben
being
Simmons
compared
any more
to
media
not just
attention, I'm
LeBron,
done.
but Magic, a taller Jason Kidd, he was compared to all sorts of legends. There was an aura,
Ben Simmons player comparison is anti-Andre Miller. No. Yeah. No. You might say he's like a taller Brevin Knight. Yeah, I'm going to go with a Brevin Knight. He's a taller Brevin Knight, man.
a mystique
There we go.
around
I like
this
that
6'10"
comparison.
point guard. And in his first couple seasons, he showed so much promise. It's just, he never showed he was capable of reaching that next level. Whether it's his mindset, or his lack
It's
of
the
drive,
mindset.
or his lack of improvement and
I don't think he
motivation,
loves basketball. I
these
think he
things
tolerates
separate
basketball.
Simmons from the upper echelon of NBA stars. Mason Plumley, Yi Jian Lian. The absurdity of this comparison is at
Sorry, man. Flight laugh kind of spilled out there, man. Li Jian Lien, man. That was my dude. Man, I love Li Jian Lien, bro. He ain't nothing like Mason Plumley. Yeah, that jumper on, man.
a whole new level. Yi was drafted in 07, and he was quickly recognized as a major bust. Plumley was drafted 6 years later in 2013.
Hey, he was a 2K
In what
god, though,
world
man.
should you compare a player to a bust? That certainly won't make Plumley feel any better. Did they
There's any
expect
player to do it
Plumley
with.
to flame out of the NBA very quickly as well, just like Yi? Perhaps, but it was just a weird projection.
I don't know what to say
Marcus
about that
Smart,
highlight.
Dwayne Wade. So Smart's pre-draft scouting report was a lot different than the player he turned out to be. In college, Smart was a much better scorer, a great slasher, he drew a lot of fouls, was a poor three-point shooter, and they were both 6'4", 220 pounds. Basically, everything about Smart reminded people of Dwayne Wade. So, in theory, this
Yeah,
comparison...
D. Wade actually played point guard at Marquette, I believe, and I know he played his first year in NBA, in the NBA. Marcus Smart, I believe, played a little point guard in college, didn't he? But he pretty much is a shooting guard, but combo guard, I would say.
made sense
D.
based
Wade
off
was a
his
2.
college career.
He could handle it, though,
The
but he was a
results,
2.
though, were far different. Smart, for most of his NBA career, has been a very poor offensive player. At this point, he's more of a catch-and-shoot player who struggles to run an offense consistently. If Smart panned out how we thought he would from what we saw
Wade
in
had that
college,
ISO
maybe
game.
he could have been similar to D. Wade.
Not a great three-point shooter, but...
Adam Morrison,
Oh boy.
Larry Bird. Yes. Back in the day when pretty much every tall white guy who can dribble was compared to Larry Bird.
Yeah, if it's an international
Morrison,
player,
though,
then it's
was
Dirk.
certainly the most extreme example of this. Not just that, but Morrison turned out to be a complete bust. Despite dominating at Gonzaga, nothing.
To be
he did
honest, it's a very
translated to
lazy
the
way to do
NBA.
player comparisons.
But seeing him play at Gonzaga, he was so freaking good. It almost made it seem like this comparison to Larry Bird was legit. If you've read his scouting report by Aaron Smith, man, he made it seem like he's gonna be an all-time great.
That's looking like Stephon Marbury.
It was almost believable that he could be the next Larry Bird. In reality, all of his weaknesses were accurate, but none of his strengths. Andrea Bargnani and Darko Milicic, Dirk Nowitzki. Yes, similar to the previous comparison, but this time it's about the tall Europeans who can shoot. They all get compared to Dirk. Bargnani had a much better career than Darko, obviously, and at the time of their comparisons, Dirk was approaching his prime.
Yo, man, you know what? I need a name. I need a name of the scout of the Detroit Pistons in summer of 2003. I need names. I need the person that went out there and certified the documentation that said Darko was the next Dirk. Where is he at, or she, and what are they doing now? It better not be you, Joe Dumars, because I know you're like running the NBA now with with Adam Silver. So, but I need names.
Shooting 7-footer in NBA history. While Bargs and Milicic showed incredible skills prior to the draft, it's always dicey to compare guys to all-time greats. Damian Lillard, Jared Bayless.
Ooh. Jared Bayless was a bucket,
This is another
though.
comparison that boggles my mind. Now, I do understand that
Jared
Lillard
was a bucket,
very
but that's about all he
underrated
had to his
coming in.
game.
There hasn't been a single player to come out of Weber State and have a successful career until Lillard came along. Still, when he was about to get drafted, Bayless was a fringe role player.
Yeah, Dame is like a
backup point guard who was
Costco
nothing special.
Keon Dooling.
I guess the similarity was they were both considered score-first guards who were not true point guards. But very quickly, Lillard rose up the ranks and became a bona fide star, while Bayless remained a backup point guard for the rest of his career. Giannis Antetokumbo, Nick Batum.
Yeah, I remember this one.
I don't blame the scouts for getting this wrong and for not having faith in Giannis. When he came in, he was a huge project. He was
would kind of built like Batum too when he
really
first
had
came
many
in.
skills outside of his physical tools. Most project players never reach their potential. The Nick Batum comparison was mostly due to, people thinking he could be an all-around forward who could do a little bit of everything. Nobody thought he'd grow into this powerhouse of a player. And finally, Deshaun Stevenson, Michael Jordan. This has to be the most absurd comparison I've ever read. It was so absurd that the original writer of the scouting report made an apology for comparing Stevenson to the great Michael Jordan.
Man.
Not to mention, he was merely the 23rd pick of the draft. His report was mainly based on his high school accomplishments, where he averaged over 30 points a game, and he did come straight out of high school. Either way, I don't think any other comparison
hit him with it, man.
And it's a great way to cap off this video. Anyway,
alright, that's all we got, man. Thank y'all so much for watching. Great video as always. Peace out, my friends. His video, not mine. Mine are garbage. But Andy Hoops, not Austin Sweat. I always think Austin Sweat. Andy Hoops. Great video.